What's up, guys? Got another good one here for you. Back in the SUV, we are talking about count them, four wide receivers you want to avoid and not draft for fantasy football 2025. I'm ready to dive into it. I'm continuously rolling out content here for you. If you are new to the channel, this is the number one podcast, the only channel giving you the truth. So turn on that bell, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment below. Let's make this ultra interactive, guys. I'm no different than you guys. But I've been doing this since 2015 hardcore on this podcast. That's why I'm number one, because I've been doing it and crushing it. Go follow my Insta and socials as well. And turn on the bell for latest breaking news. You don't want to miss a thing, okay, guys? So I'm going to go through these four wide receivers. I got a lot of energy. The sun is shining. Fantasy football is around the corner. I got a dynasty draft coming up very, very soon. It's coming up, I think, May 1st. I'm excited about that. And dude, I'm so excited about the NFL draft. I'm so excited about Genty, Hampton, Henderson, so many other good players coming out, Ward, and so many other good rookies coming. I can't wait to see where they land. So if you want to get all the information, hit the subscribe, thumbs up. I'm going to keep rolling out the content here for you, okay? So let's go through these four guys. The last guy is a bit of a shock because he's a relatively big name, and I'm just going to go ahead and avoid him. I really don't care. The second guy is even a big name, but I really don't care, and I'll tell you guys why, okay? Let's dive into it. The first wide receiver. As I sit here, I'm going through this list. I'm out here waiting. If you guys don't know why I'm in the SUV, I wait for my kids. I pick up my kids from school. So I come here a little bit early so I get a good spot so I can get to them and we can get out of here before the rush with the buses. And some of these bus drivers are crazy. Now, if you're in their lane, they go crazy, they honk. They're absolutely insane. I never get in their lane, right? I just keep in my own lane. But that's why I come early to get a good spot. So we're SUV. I'm like, why not do some vlogs here, have some fun, keep the content rolling for you guys daily. So make sure you guys are subscribed. First wide receiver I'm staying away from, Mr. High-paid Higgins. High-paid Higgins. I like the sound of that here. Wide receiver 13 right now, finished as wide receiver 17th last year, getting paid $115 million over the next 4 years. Now, I remember a couple of years ago, he ended up playing 12 games and busted the year. Everybody was drafting him in the second round. And I told you, simply avoid T. Higgins. Why do you avoid T. Higgins? It's very simple. The guy is overhyped, and he's always going to play second fiddle to Jamar Chase, who just got paid $4 million, $160 some odd million deal or whatever. It's crazy. Bottom line is these two are making they're getting paid $70 million a year between the two of them. And that's just wide receivers, which is insane. Now he's getting paid a lot. He played 12 games last year, 104 targets, 104 some odd targets, over 100, 73 receptions, 911 yards receiving, and 10 touchdowns. Not bad, but I want a wide receiver one regardless. I got to make sure that I get a wide receiver one. I will never draft a second fiddle. Now, I may look to take a gamble or a risk on a wide receiver later that could be a second fiddle, but I don't have to spend a second or third round pick. We talked about this last year where guys like Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, or guys like DJ Moore were coming off round 3. Debo Samuel Ayuk were the perfect examples coming off round 3 where one of them was going to play second fiddle and they both ended up busting. I'm like, avoid those guys. So it's similarly happening again with Higgins. There's a lot of hype around his paycheck and how he got paid, and he's sitting at wide receiver 13. Very expensive to pay for a guy who's a wide receiver 13. Understand, last year, guys like McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., and I'm giving you a draft strategy here, he was being ranked coming off round 9 or 10, and he was the wide receiver one, sitting behind a guy like Christian Kirk, who was coming off round 6. So this is why rankings don't help you, and 16 rounds will help you. So make sure you guys grab the 16-round draft so you can pre-order right now. Use the promo code early to save 25%. Grab it below. Rankings won't help you. So again, I'm seeing Higgins a little high for me, and he's a wide receiver 2. I'm not going to do it, okay? Coming at number 2 is a guy who finished number 2, I think, last year, or sitting as wide receiver 2 this year. Copy and paste BS yet again. 154 targets last year. Awesome. The guy I'm talking about is Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, 5 years in a row, 1,000 plus receiving yards. Amazing. I mean, every single year, this guy's crushing it. Now, he did have a down year in 2023 where he did play the 10 games. Could the injury bug kick back in? Very possible. But the biggest question here is who was the quarterback? Sam Darnold got shipped off. J.J. McCarthy, I just heard talks that they're not going to trade him, but I just still see him being the backup. Now, there is talk about Aaron Rodgers, but at the time of this recording, I just heard that Aaron Rodgers is going to be out with the Vikings. They're not going to be looking at him. At the time of this recording, again, Steelers are looking at him, and the Giants possibly, but they don't have a solidified quarterback one. which really puts Jefferson's position up in the air. Now, he did get lucky last year with Darnold. I'm not a Darnold advocate. He's a system quarterback. He did well with the Vikings. He did well with Jefferson. I didn't see that happening. I could take ownership on that. But the biggest thing is I'm not investing a first-round pick, especially in redraft, on a wide receiver anyway, right? That's number one. Number two, we don't know the quarterback situation. Number three, 5 pinnacle amazing years. Isn't he due for a decline? You can say, well, no, he's not, and I get it. He's safe as they come. Definitely, but again, there's too many question marks around a guy coming off, number 2 amongst wide receivers, ranked number 2, and a guy that's definitely coming off in the top 5 picks. So for me, I'm going to be out on Jefferson yet again, just not a guy I'm riding, and the biggest reason is I go running back in round 1, okay? So Jefferson, I'm avoiding, big-time name. All right, number 3 here, I've got Adam Thielen. Again, he's wide receiver 61. Leggett, who is the young rookie, is wide receiver 65, ranked below him, which is crazy. That's why rankings don't work. I think Leggett has a better year. Thielen is going into his 12th season. He's 35 years old, or will be 35 by the time season starts. I think he's born in August. What do you have last year? 48 receptions, 5 touchdowns, give or take, 600-plus yards. Listen, this is a guy that is slated as the wide receiver 1. Again, this is pre-NFL draft. Things are going to change. I'm not sold on Bryce Young. I'm not sold on this offense. I'm not sold on the Panthers, period. So I'm avoiding him simply because of that. Now you can say, well, Joe, he's going to be good value. I can get him later. But you can get a rookie later. You can get a guy that, last year you could have been going for the Thielens, but you went for a Brian Thomas Jr. And that's what 16 rounds is going to tell you. In my 16-round draft switch, I'm going to explain to you who to get, when to get them, so you guys have optimal players, okay? When you're looking at wide receiver, never settle for old dudes. Never settle for guys that have had years to wow you're not wowed. And never settle for wide receiver 2s, especially in those early rounds. Guys, this is practical stuff that really works. You want to take this advice, okay? That's why I'm telling you, you got to subscribe, you got to turn on the bell, because nobody's giving this advice. They're just telling you, hey, take T. Higgins, he's wide receiver 13, just draft him at his ADP. That's not how you're going to win your league, okay? It's bottom line, not how you're going to win your league, all right? Last wide receiver here. Again, I told you he's going to be a big name. I'm fading him. I'm not sold on him being a good wide receiver, outstanding. I see him as an average wide receiver, okay? The guy I'm talking about here is DK Metcalf, okay? I'm not sold on this guy being good. I'm not sold on this guy being outstanding. I'm not sold on this guy, period. DK Metcalf is now on the Steelers, which is crazy. He's wide receiver 24 amongst wide receivers in PPR on the Sheep rankings. Wide receiver 24, George Pickens, who is the wide receiver 1 on that team. Remember, Metcalf is coming in. Pickens should have that wide receiver 1 spot. When does Metcalf come in and take that 1 spot? It just doesn't work like that, man. I still think Pickens is the one. I'm just not sold on either one of these guys being outstanding talent. And again, the quarterback situation, suspect, who's throwing the ball. Listen, Mason Rudolph is slated as the quarterback 1 right now, okay? There's talk about Rodgers coming in there, maybe his last hurrah, Rodgers. Bottom line is this, I don't trust this situation. I just don't trust it. Now, mind you, we don't know who the wide receiver 1 is, and they're sitting at wide receiver 24 and 31. You're getting him as better value than guys like last year where it was like Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, who were coming off super early, like round 3 type stuff, which again, I would not invest in, where you're uncertain on who the 1 is. In this case, you got 2 guys. 1 could be the 1, but you don't have to spend essentially that 3rd round pick to get him, okay? So Metcalf's the guy I'm staying away from. Uncertainty at quarterback. Jefferson we talked about. We talked about Thielen, and we talked about Higgins. There's 4 players to avoid for fantasy football 2025. I was saying, who do you want to draft, Joe? 16 rounds has all the answers. So make sure you guys are subscribed, turn on the bell. I will be doing top 10 list, but I don't like to go off rankings. You will not win your league off rankings. If you won your league off rankings, if you do what everybody else does, you're going to get what everybody else does, which is a crappy team, okay? It doesn't work. So, Lion mentality, guys. Subscribe, thumbs up, turn on the bell. I'll keep the content rolling for you. Beautiful sunny day. I'm going to get some air. I rolled the windows up so that it's better for sound, but I got to roll the windows down. It's getting hot in here, all right? I appreciate you guys. Turn on the bell and keep the content coming to you daily, and go get 16 rounds. You can pre-order right now and get into the course, get your login. First release is going to come out 2nd week of May, right after the draft, 2 weeks after the draft. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm out.